Welcome to the Grim and Glamorous Podcast, a podcast about pop culture and the paranormal. We are your hosts, Albie G and Drea. In this special two-part Halloween episode, we're going to be discussing the new Halloween movie, our plans for this year's holiday, and our own personal ghost stories and encounters with the paranormal. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back to the Grim and Glamorous Podcast, and we are your hosts, Albie G and Drea.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Yeah, so we're recording this in November, so Halloween has already come and gone, but yeah, it was pretty fun this year.
I had fun.
Yeah, what did you do?
I went with my friends to Hamburger Mary's in Long Beach. We went in costume, hung out for a little bit, and then that was it.
That sounds like a good time. Long Beach, there's a lot of cool stuff in that area.
Yeah, it's over there. It's like really super close to the Queen Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So, nice location. So, it was pretty fun.
I've always wanted to do the Queen Mary. Like, I think they have like a ghost tour or something every Halloween, but I've never had a chance to actually do that.
I've never been to the Queen Mary. And it's literally like, what, a half hour away from us?
Yeah, it's so close. I went for, I think it was like a high school dance. Must have been like homecoming or prom one year. And
wait, at the Queen Mary?
Yeah, I think it was my senior year of high school.
No
and
way.
It was like either homecoming or prom, and we went there, and it was there on the boat. It was like a really cool time. But yeah, that was a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago.
I was going to say, what, like almost 10 years ago?
11 probably, I think, yeah. But sometimes I'll go out with friends. This year was a little bit quiet. Did some editing for the podcast. I did like watch some like Halloween movies and like Netflix to kind of get into the spirit of it. But like I watched Hereditary with Dad.
Oh yeah, you told me about that movie.
Yeah, like I bought it.
I don't know what it's about, so I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's so we bought the DVD like a month ago. And I got it because there was I wanted to see it in theaters, and there was like this big hype about this movie that people were saying it's one of the scariest movies ever. So that caught my attention, and I wanted to see it, in person in theaters, and I didn't get a chance to do that. So, and it was pretty good. It was actually really scary. People were really hyping this as like one of the scariest movies ever, and I don't know if I would say like it was, up there. Like, I'm gonna say maybe top 10. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty scary and has a few surprising twists. Like it's about not just like one person being like haunted or possessed. It's like a generation, like a whole family of people. So I thought that was kind of unique. There's some pretty like graphic, intense scenes. Like I wouldn't recommend it for people that for kids or like teens even. Like I think you really have to be like, I think it was rated R. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see.
There's some pretty graphic scenes. It's just like psychologically traumatizing almost.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's pretty good. I thought it was cool. It's also one of those movies where like Dad and I were talking about it for like a couple days afterwards. Like you do have to watch it. I think you do have to watch it a couple times to really like go back and look at things you miss. It's one of those movies where with multiple viewings it gets better. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Hereditary. Watched Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Yeah.
On Netflix. So that was really cool. We were doing that thing on our retro episode where like remakes, and we're talking about movies that are being redone. And this one I was kind of skeptical at first because, we used to watch Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. So it was kind of interesting to see them redo it. But I thought I was pleasantly surprised with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
The first season's up. The whole season's up.
Yeah.
Episodes are about an hour long. So I like binge watched the whole thing over the course of 2 days. But it's really good. They have Salem the Cat is back.
Oh, that's
black
right. You told
hat.
me this.
Yeah. So that was fun. I mean, that's really all I did, but
Mhm.
it was a nice quiet evening. Yeah, it was cool. And Halloween's like always one of my favorite holidays. Just like the whole spirit of it, like dressing up, decorations, scary
Oh
stories.
yeah, like I mean that's my favorite thing to do is to dress up, whether it's in costume, whether it's like, you know, just get all fancy for like, you know.
One of the fun things about Halloween is that people get to be creative and you get to see
Mhm.
that. And I think, for some people that it's hard to come up with a costume idea. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm gonna find something that works. It's last minute. I'm just gonna throw on a costume I bought at
Mhm.
the store. And then other people like really put in the time and effort to like dress up and be creative, and they have a good idea and they go all out for it. And I think that's always something that's fun to
Oh
see.
yeah.
It's almost like going to like an art show or a museum where you get to like enjoy the creativity of
Mhm.
it. Like I think
Exactly.
that's kind of fun. Is just like you go out, you see people dressed up, and
I like
you get to enjoy that.
the thought process that goes on with it. It's like, okay, you have an idea, then it's like, okay, how am I gonna get this costume done? If I'm gonna hand make it, like what kind of fabric do I use? Like I need to go out and buy a pattern, you know, stuff like that. So like I like the thought process that goes on in like making a costume or, you know, something like well thought out and like if you're gonna do the full costume, go full costume every time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think back to like some of my favorite costumes that I've done. Um, there was one year. There were actually like several years where I was Harry Potter,
How
and
many times have you been Harry Potter in a
probably
row?
like not in a row, but I think I would like in 2012 or 2013 I was Harry Potter, and then I did it again like a couple years later. And I think it was because like it was a costume where like you can do it each time like the movie comes out.
Oh,
And so
okay, I
there was
see.
like,
Yeah.
7 movies, so it feels like every year they have Harry Potter stuff.
You know what? The thing about the Harry Potter costume, I've seen like the Harry Potter costume get better and better and better every year. Even if it's like a packaged costume, like I feel like the creativity or like the quality of the Harry Potter costume has gone like so much better than what it used to be. I think like we went somewhere. I think we went to like what is it, Spirit Halloween or something like that, and like their costumes were like for Harry Potter were like great. Like they were like, I mean, almost like movie quality costumes, and I was impressed. And I was like, wow, like you know for a Halloween costume, this is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think because it's been so popular and it's sort of like every year it's been out, they have improved it a lot. Like there's like the cape and the shirt and tie and the robe and yeah, it's definitely something where I think enough people will probably are into it and buy it
Yeah.
that there's going to be a lot of cool variations of that available. But that one was probably like one of the ones where I got the most comments or the most people were like, oh, like you're Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
like it's when you're something that's recognizable. I think that's part of the fun too, is like when people like get what you're doing. Um, but yeah, I think that was probably one of my favorites. Trying to think what else I was a couple of years ago. Um,
I remember one time you were Jack Sparrow. I think you were Jack Sparrow.
oh yeah, I remember. I think I did that in high school. I had like the dreadlocks and
Mm-hmm.
the bandana and like the pirate, vest and
Mm-hmm.
shirt. That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think Pirates was out at the time, and so that was
I
like a
think so too.
popular
Yeah.
one. But yeah, that was a fun costume. I didn't dress up this year, but I think I do want to dress up for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to start thinking of ideas. And that's the other thing too, is I think you can get ideas like even like so far ahead
Oh yeah.
that you kind of hope it still like makes sense and is like relevant a year later.
Exactly.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm already thinking of costume ideas,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it'll probably change in the meantime. But yeah, it was a fun year. I think I tried to get into it this year. Like I was carving pumpkins. I was
Mm-hmm.
like helping with. We didn't have a lot of decorations, but we set up like this projector in the front of the house.
Yes, my
That was really cool.
what is it called? But it's this movie projector thing. It's like it has like 6 Halloween movies and 6 Halloween or Christmas movies, but they're not like movies. They're more like gifts. So like it's just like a skeleton that dances around like. But they're the same people who make that, and I bought that at Target on clearance the day after Christmas for like $5. And I was
So
like,
you have a Christmas one already then?
so I do have a Christmas one, and I just need a star shower to
Okay.
complete the look.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would probably be good for Christmas. Like if you get them like green and red, or holiday festive colors like that. That would probably be a good use for that. I can't believe like there's already Christmas decorations up. Like I was driving yesterday through the neighborhood.
Is it that one house that I know
There's
what
a
house
house
you're
where
talking
it's
about?
completely already. It looks like it's December
And they
23rd
have-
over there.
Yeah, and they have a full Christmas tree in the window. Yeah, I know which one you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I drove by and I was like, do these people like, are they so into Christmas? Like it was just so immediate after Halloween.
No, some people get so excited about Christmas. August comes around and they're just like full Santa Claus list. Like, these are all the things that I'm going to get for my family. These are all the things that I'm going to get for my kids. Like, let's start shopping once
It's appropriate, yeah.
Yeah, once there's like a good sale, let's just go hit up the mall and get all our gifts. Like,
Yeah.
even I think maybe like Black Friday, for some people, that's just like too late. Like, if you're not done by Black Friday, just don't even bother.
Yeah, yeah, some people really get into that, and yeah, Black Friday every year is just this huge event, especially like there's some outlet stores close to where we live, so where are those outlets?
Oh, there's
like
one,
Carlsbad, but there's some
Carlsbad.
closer.
Is the Carlsbad one the same as the Cabazon, or is that different?
I think those are
it's
different. Yeah, but I know that they have huge Black Friday events.
Mm-hmm.
I went one year with some friends, and we went like yeah, we went Black Friday shopping at South Coast, and it was insane. Like the parking was, I have never seen a parking lot that full before. It took an hour to navigate the parking lot, and we just left, and we're like, we have to come back later because it's just too busy and too crowded.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I try not to go Black Friday shopping unless it's like, later in the day. Like I don't like to go really early when everybody's, going crazy, but yeah, people.
I've done it before. It's fun. One of our aunts will pick me up, and we'll head to Target. We'll head to Macy's, and I mean, like sometimes, like the things that they sell during Black Friday, they're just like giving them away. Like I bought an espresso machine for like $10, but then also never again will I buy an espresso machine for $10 because it fully exploded. But
yeah, I think the fact that it was $10 is probably
well,
a red
okay.
flag.
See, the original price was probably like $30.
Even $30, I feel like, is not.
Yeah, I think for an actual real espresso machine, probably into like the $500 through like $1,000 if you want like a real good one. But this one was just like one of those tiny ones where it's like, oh, make like one cappuccino for yourself, $10. Yeah, never again. I think I used it once, it exploded, and then I just put it back in the box, and it just sat.
Just sat there.
It just sat there. So.
Yeah, I feel like with stuff like that, it's always just like buyer beware. Like, you take that chance, and hopefully it's a good product, but, sometimes, more often than not, it's probably going to fall apart or explode.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's kind of the fun of the holidays also, is just, getting into that spirit and that mood, and, shopping, decorating, spending time with family. That's always, this is like the time of year where that happens. So I always think of it as like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Like it's just this from end of October through January. It's just like holiday after holiday after holiday. Like it's a good time of the year. But yeah, it was a good Halloween this year. Um, Already looking forward to next year, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of getting into that spirit or the mood of Halloween has always been like for me, like the scary movies, sharing ghost stories.
Hmm.
We talked a little bit about some of the movies that that we enjoyed. I think in our last episode, looking back at like the new X-Files, the new Halloween movie,
Right.
which you saw that one, right?
I
You
did.
saw
I saw
Halloween.
it. Yes.
Yeah, what did you think of that?
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a great movie. Like, um, I haven't seen all the Halloween films. Halloween films that I've seen, I think I've seen most of the original. I saw this last one. I think I saw H2O.
I saw that one.
Did
I
you
saw
see
that one.
H2O? Okay.
And that
And wasn't the one that was directed by Rob Zombie? He did do a Halloween in 2007, and I saw that one.
what was that one called?
That one was just called Halloween. Let's see. After being committed for 17 years, Michael Myers, now a grown man and still very dangerous, escapes from the mental institution. Wait a minute. Hold on. Isn't this the trailer for... Or isn't that the description for this one? For this new one?
The latest one, yeah.
The latest one. So, it's the exact same description as the one in 2007. Which is kind of bizarre. Thank you, IMDb. I saw that one. And that one was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this new one, I liked it. So I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay, like if the trailer's all right, I'll go and see it. So I saw the trailer, and I was like, all right, let's go see this. I don't know. It's just it makes me laugh that like Michael Myers doesn't have like a sense of like really anything. Like he's just like a zombie almost. I mean, I know he's like in a mental institution and like kind of have to feel sorry for him because he's, probably not all there. But also, what?
I haven't heard that before. People feel sorry for him.
You have to feel sorry for him because you're like, just maybe that, something went wrong.
I happened to go to a screening where people were very like their reactions were audible, so like there were like oohs and ahs.
Well, you went to a special, like...
No, I'm just saying that
Oh, okay.
the audience that was at when I went, because sometimes like audiences can be very expressive.
Was it a full theater?
It was a
full theater?
huge
Okay.
theater, probably group of people. I would say probably like 200 or 300.
Okay, did you go closer to like opening or did you go like...
No, I mean, a couple days before Halloween.
Okay.
But the movie had already been out.
I was gonna say, like, I went maybe like the Thursday night before it came out, so like, opening night or whatever. And I want to say that the theater was not full. The theater was like 25% full.
Oh, wow.
And it was like empty. There was like everybody sat in the back. This was in like Lake Forest, I think. It was just empty, and I thought it was kind of weird because like I was like, is this Halloween and this is the new one and everybody's been waiting for it to come out, and the theater is 25% empty, or I'm sorry, 25% full, and nobody really made any noise or got scared, or we just kind of sat there, watched the movie and left. Like,
yeah, I think Lake Forest is like kind of like a suburban kind of an area, so it doesn't surprise me that like not only was it not full, but nobody was reacting. Like I remember one of my favorite movie going experiences ever was I watched Get Out in Harlem in New York, and that was awesome because people were so expressive, like, and not in a way that's sort of interruptive or obnoxious, but just like the reaction to what was going on to the movie. I think that makes it kind of fun, but I also think sometimes you'll go to a movie screen and it's just like teenagers and they're just like laughing and like throwing things, and I've experienced that a few times, and that's not fun. Like that kind of takes away from it.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, I like it when the audience is just like fully like when something's funny, then everybody laughs, or like when something's like a jump scare, when everyone's like I like that. Like I think that's fun too. But I mean,
Yeah, I think that's cool too. And also like they yeah, people do that, but like if they're not like talking or like on their phones, like cuz that's just
oh
like
yeah,
disruptive, but yeah, when people have like genuine reactions, I think that's really cool.
yeah,
But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I was kind of skeptical. The previews looked good, but whenever there's a remake or another
hmm
version of a movie, you're kind of like, okay, how good is it going to be? Especially when they're redoing a classic.
yeah,
And we touched on this before a little bit with our retro episode,
hmm
where that's always a challenge when you're redoing something that was really popular, or can be considered a classic. But I thought it did a good job of you know going back over that old, like, the conflict between Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and kind of like going through that, seeing like what the reaction has been and the
hmm
results of the original
hmm
one, and then you see the dynamics with her and her daughter, and then the granddaughter,
hmm
and if you haven't seen it, we don't want to spoil too much of it. It is a good movie, and
yeah,
definitely worth seeing, but it's kind of cool to see all of them get in on the conclusion of the film. And
right.
I thought they kind of left open the possibility of another one.
hmm Would you want there to be another one, or would you just want him to die already?
I don't know. I think it always depends.
Like for me, I think that I would hate that Michael Myers would still be alive to terrorize the daughter or the granddaughter. Because I mean, like in the film, like what's her name, Lori? That's her name.
Mm-hmm.
Is already old. Like
Yeah, and she's like clearly like has been impacted greatly by what happened.
yeah, exactly. So like if for some reason like they wanted to continue on the story without Lori, like do you think that Michael Myers would go and continue like to follow like the daughter or the
Hmm.
granddaughter? I mean, for some reason throughout this movie, I don't think he really cared too much about the actual daughter. I mean, unless like there's a reason why. I mean, I haven't seen all of them, so maybe there is a reason. Um, or maybe that it's just because throughout the whole thing, the daughter was not like bothered by him at all. It didn't seem like it. Like her attitude towards him was like, "Stop it, he's not real." Like you're just crazy. Um,
Right.
so I mean, maybe that had something to do with like to do with it, but like,
Yeah, I think for me there was kind of like this sense of like finality to like a sense of like conclusion to the series with this
mm-hmm.
movie. It being like the 40th anniversary, like that's a long time,
Yeah,
and it felt conclusive where you have Lori, the daughter, the granddaughter, they all sort of get in on the action and
yeah,
help with escaping, and so I don't know. I kind of felt like it did feel like the last one.
mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me, or I wouldn't be disappointed if they did another one, but I felt it ended on a good note because I feel like there have been so many of those movies and some of them haven't been great.
Mm-hmm.
This one was like, it was good enough to be like, okay, this is the last one.
Yeah,
Now, I wouldn't mind if they did like another version of it where somebody else takes up the mantle of Michael Myers, or it's like a different family or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Like, that wouldn't bother me. Um, Actually, during the movie, I thought it was going a different direction. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens in it. But there's a point where he gets hit by a car, the police car. The sheriff hits him with
Oh
Michael
yeah, yeah,
Myers with the
uh huh,
car.
yeah.
And I thought he killed him. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's dead here. And then the doctor like kills the sheriff
Oh yeah,
and
that was
puts on the mask.
weird.
What I thought was going to happen there was I thought the doctor was gonna put on the mask and become like the next Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And he was gonna be the next one. Like, okay,
Uh-huh.
like Michael Myers is dead,
Yeah.
then this doctor is gonna be the new killer.
Yeah.
Um, they ended up, Michael Myers is like famous for always coming back. Like you think he's dead, and he
Right.
survived it somehow, which happened again here. And there are other moments in the movie where like he gets injured or shot or stabbed, and then he's on the ground, and then he just like sits up, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
and the like when that happened, the audience was just like, he's back, like he's not dead
Yeah.
yet, because he got like shot and
Oh
hit by
yeah.
a car, and
He
he was still
did.
moving,
His
and
fingers, I think somebody like cut his hand or like he cut his fingers off or something like that.
yeah,
He had like, he's just walking around bleeding
right,
and like doesn't say a word,
he's
doesn't, you know,
yeah, definitely he's like
just
very resilient, and
yeah.
I think the doctor, that scene where the doctor's in the car and he's driving Michael back, and the granddaughter's in the back also, and the doctor's kind of speculating about, why Michael's so, you know, resilient to like dying,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like he said something about like he guesses that there's something in him where it's sort of like survival instinct is just like he has to keep killing
Mm-hmm.
and going on, and sort of this conflict with Lori is like what's keeping both of them like going. It's almost like this existential, like that's his reason for being, is to kill Lori.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and then you kind of see it flipped around where Lori's been planning all this time, like traps and the house and the guns and um, just strategizing and being tactical about, you know, and almost like confident, like he's gonna come back one day, and I want to be prepared.
Right.
And that was part of the conflict with the daughter, was that she grew up with this sort of paranoid personality because of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was interesting because like it's a horror movie, of course, and it's really can be scary, but there's also this like family dynamic that's sort of at play, just the relationship between the daughter and Lori. The granddaughter, I feel like she didn't really get why there was such conflict, and then of course she figures
Yeah.
out. But I think that just like that dynamic of like you see different generations at play and like experiencing the like Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what sort of gave it, at least to me, this sense of like, okay, this may be the last one, because it's sort of like all these years have gone by and it's gotten to this conflict, and
Right.
here it is.
Yeah.
But I thought overall it was pretty well done. I was pretty happy with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see if they do another one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, but
I don't think so either. I wouldn't want them to. Like, I mean, that's just it.
yeah,
Like, they should just end it and, make some new ones. Make some new horror movies. Or make some new old horror movies. I don't think they've updated whatchamacallit. When was the last Freddy movie?
it's been a while. Actually don't remember when the last one was. That would be interesting to see that.
To revamp,
Yeah.
like, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one to redo. It would be interesting to see also, because we were talking earlier about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and how they're redoing that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Another one that they redid on Netflix instead of a movie, but as a series, was Scream. So they redid Scream as like, I think they did maybe 3 seasons of it, and it's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that one was kind of fun to revisit, and I think I've watched maybe 2 seasons of it, and of course it's not going to be as good as like the original movie, or
Yeah.
in Scream they had Scream 2 and the third one. I still think the original is a classic,
Yeah, it definitely is.
but it was kind of fun to see it play out over a series, because when you do like a movie, it's 2 hours at most. Like it rarely goes over that. And so there's not always a lot of time to really like, get all the characters and, you know, see how those dynamics play out.
Mm-hmm.
So Scream was interesting to see. Um, they changed the characters. It wasn't like Sydney. It was, another girl, younger cast. But I think that would be like, Friday the 13th as like a series, like on Netflix or something. Like that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like I would watch that.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because if you think about it, like, okay, like for Michael Myers, he's just like one guy and he like stalks around and he kills people. But like Freddy will go into people's dreams, and I feel like that would be interesting to see like over the course of like 8 or 10 episodes, like
Mm-hmm.
oh, like in this one he's in this person's dreams, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's in another person's, and then just like I think that would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
But I mean we'll see. I think they're redoing a lot of stuff, so I think that would be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. That would be great. Like, I mean, I don't know. It would be neat to like either have the original person who played Freddy Krueger or have him be like younger, have him be, change him up a little bit,
Right.
make him even more scary or
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about today is that some of the old classic movies, they kind of have this um I don't know, feel to them where they're, you can tell that they're a little bit older, but I think just like aesthetically they're kind of fun to watch. But for today's movies, like there's so much technology and like computerized stuff that you can do where um I think that gives it like a little bit more of a like modern twist.
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I think they're doing some good stuff with what they have available now.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely Halloween, like the original, is probably one of my favorite scary movies. Um, this new remake is really good.
Oh yeah.
Would definitely recommend it. I'm trying to think of like my favorite scary movies, and I think we mentioned this last time also,
Mm-hmm.
but like Get Out, I really enjoyed. It Follows is one of my favorites. Hereditary, now that I've seen it and got to see it for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I think I definitely put it on the list just because it's really unique and um, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. You like Leprechaun? You were talking about that last
I
time.
love Leprechaun.
Leprechaun's
It's
fun.
so funny.
Do you have any other favorites?
I do like Scream. Scream is, pretty good. Um, let me think. Another scary movie that I like is what is that called? Oh, it's not a scary movie. It's not like a horror film. The one that actually like made me feel uncomfortable was, what is it called? Vacancy. Like I think we talked about that. Like it's not like a traditional horror film. It's like a psychological thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just based off of like something that can actually happen to you.
Yeah.
Like, your car can die and like you're looking for somebody to help you, and then somebody just comes and kills you or
Yeah.
tries to kill you or tries to, do something, terrible to you. Like
Yeah.
that made me uneasy. And I was like, I remember watching it and then leaving the theater just like looking around very scared and paranoid and anxious. But yeah, like that's a good one. I like that one. But other than that, like, a lot of scary. Oh, arachnophobia.
Oh yeah, with the spiders. That
Yeah.
that one was a good one.
That
I mean,
one was
not
a good
good.
one.
I mean, it was scary.
It was scary when, I mean, okay, this is the reason why I think it was scary at the time, and then like now if you watch it you're just like, like animated spiders.
Yeah.
I think Dad took me to see this movie when I was like 6 or 7, and it was just like, all right, you're 6 or 7 years old and you're watching arachnophobia. Like
Yeah.
a bunch of spiders everywhere, and then there's I think in the movie somehow like the spiders catch on fire, so there's like crawling spiders on fire everywhere, and you're just
Yeah.
like, I remember going to bed, like we came back from the movie, all right, good night, going to bed, and I'm in bed, and I was just like,
Oh my
oh
gosh.
no, spiders are gonna come and scare, like, eat me or something like that, like, um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the worst movies you can watch if you're a little
A
kid.
little kid
Yeah.
scared of everything, yeah.
I think I think Dad shares my love of scary movies. So I remember watching them when I was a kid. Like he would
Hmm.
just watch them, and um, some of my favorites were like the old monsters. So like Dracula,
Oh yeah.
Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like the Creature from the Black Lagoon was one of my favorites because he was just kind of like this cool fish monster thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Shape of Water?
I haven't, but I really want to see it.
So I guess it's that monster from the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like
It is, yeah.
he's
It's supposed
that.
to be that, yeah.
Um, that's a good movie,
Isn't
and
it like kind of like, I think how they made it was like a cross between the creature from the Black Lagoon and like Beauty and the Beast? Kind
um,
of.
yeah. So I mean, there's elements of the story, like the character like falls in love with the
Hmm.
monster, and she tries to save it. Um, I wouldn't say yeah. It's not a horror movie, and it's not like a romance movie. I would say it's probably a drama. Um, but it's really good. And I
Hmm.
remember when it came out and it won all those awards. Um, and rightfully so. Like it's really well
Oh, yeah.
done. The visuals are really good. Um, it's almost like one of those. What do you call those? Like there's like books where they're kind of like fantasy but like realism, or I can't remember what the genre is exactly, but it's one of those movies where it's sort of like elements of like fantasy
Hmm.
are weaved into
Yeah.
like an everyday story. But that one was really good, and I thought it was a kind of a unique twist on taking an original or older monster and kind of putting it in like you know a modern
Hmm.
movie. But that one was really good. Um, but yeah, I used to love just watching those older movies like Frankenstein and Dracula
Yeah.
and The Wolf Man. That
Hmm.
was another good one. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, just like horror movies and scary movies, it's kind of a good way to kind of get into the spirit of Halloween and this season. And yeah, definitely did that this year.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that concludes the first part of our Halloween episode, and we hope you enjoyed our discussion today. In part two, we're going to be sharing our own personal ghost stories and encounters with the paranormal that we've encountered over the years. So we hope you'll tune in for that. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.